Why, hello, and welcome to the P7 Community Podcast. This is Hylobos, and joining me today is Chorizo,
Hi.
Prometheus,
How's it going, guys?
Fawn,
How you guys doing? Welcome to the podcast.
and maybe Death Incarnate will show up later. It's a little bit up in the air. This is our first podcast after the Destiny beta ended. We'll have our different ways of coping. Let's talk about that a little bit first. How are you guys feeling? What were your high points in the beta? What were your low points? How are things going?
All the dance parties.
All the dance. You know what? You know what my low point in the beta was? That someone else recorded them playing Duck Duck Goose, and I never got the footage, so all is lost. I can't do it anymore.
No, I love the mobile app functionality. I use that more often than I should have. I don't know about you guys, but no, it was almost to the point where I woke up and I was like, oh hey, gonna check what's being sold in the tower. Log in on my phone. I was like, oh hey, there's a Sidonia AR3. Oh, guess I'll go buy it. So I log into Destiny for like 2 minutes and then I shut it off.
How about that moon mission?
I played that quite a bit. That was lots of fun.
Yeah, I was unfortunately on vacation during most of the beta, so I didn't get an opportunity to. I caught up. Well, I didn't really caught up. I played some once I got back, but never made it to the moon.
I was not available to play on the moon as I was at work.
Man, you guys missed out.
So it's all Chorizo and Heil on this one.
Yeah,
I'll let him go first because I did things differently.
You broke out of the map, right? You were
Yes, I did.
above the hollowed ogre or something like that. You just kind of fell through a hole, and then what did you see? Anything?
Okay, so me and Foeman123 moderator, and our friend Mark were exploring the Hellmouth, and we got tired of just like going around because we hit the limit, and so we're like, okay, we'll just keep killing the enemies that spawn. And then I was like, I'm gonna break the map again because I've done it everywhere in Old Russia. I keep finding ways to get out of the map, and so I was like, I'm gonna find something in the moon. And so sure enough, I was looking around. I turned around, Foeman found a hole, and from that hole, I found out how to land on an invisible ledge. And once we did that, we got in between doors, and then we just kept walking down a hallway. I'll link the video. It's insane. But we got out of the map, and you could just see like everything. And it's funny because the helmet is underground, but you look out, and you can just see the skybox because there's nothing there. And we found out what the barriers look like. They're just pink squares, and you could jump on top of them.
Yeah. So perhaps for some context, for those of you who weren't around only 2-hour period that you could start the moon mission, on Saturday, the Saturday before the beta ended, the 26th I believe that was, Bungie opened up the first moon mission, and you could play through it. It was actually, I thought, a pretty good mission, pretty well acted and such. But you could straight up ignore the mission, just go exploring around the moon map. Not everything was completely open. Like you could go like left of the starting area and end up at the Hellmouth. You could go actually quite a ways into it, but there's a lot of closed off doors that presumably you'd get to if you're doing the strike, if you're doing other missions and such. And you could reach some other areas because like you could see like the upcoming missions that got unlocked once you completed the first mission. But you couldn't actually do them. But there's like something about like, oh, go into the archives and look up some magical something or another. And then there's another one that's like destroy the sword, and you can sort of see like maybe where those missions would take you and such. But it's pretty interesting just to run around. There's like 7 ghosts that you could find. I spent about 4 hours myself just running around killing enemies with a 3-legged goat and boosting my grimoire. Since I'm, it's a little embarrassing, but I was actually in the top 10. For PlayStation in Grimoire scores. It was a little silly, but
aren't you cool?
Yeah, 930. Get on my level.
I was seeing a lot of competitive threads in the Destiny forum about like, what's your Grimoire score? And I was like, I should go in there and just post like, so Heil's got like over 900 right now. Everyone go stalk his profile.
I started like posting those, but then I just felt bad after a while because it's like,
the next closest, like you already like double their score, and you're like, what?
Yeah. My name's Halbos. I have so much Grimoire.
It got pretty hard to raise it near the end of the beta though, because like the things I had to do were like 4,000 pulse rifle kills. It's like, nope, no thanks. I do not need to get.
Not gonna grind that out.
No, but
not gonna grind that out. Not gonna spend 12 hours on the moon trying to just kill random sporadic fallen and hive spawns, because one thing I noticed about the moon is it wasn't, and maybe it's just because it was on that mission, but it wasn't as action-packed as old Russia, where like you go to an area like the Divide and there's constantly fallen that are like, oh, a dropship comes and drops off more fallen and you kill them, and now a dropship like comes 5 seconds later and drops off the same guys you just killed. Once you killed people in the hell stay dead until you came back to that area. It was actually a very refreshing, sense of pace, and I don't know, it was just interesting in general, running around in there.
You know,
You could get lost easily.
they may have slowed it down just so people had more time to explore, because like I agree, it was a lot slower paced fighting. Well, at least until you got further into the mission. I was gonna say too, I found out a pretty cool man. I found out something pretty cool about the pikes, because there's some pikes you can get on if you didn't go to the objective and you just went all the way right. There's some enemies that'll hop on these pikes, but if you don't go to the objective, they just stay there. And so we hop on the pikes, and well, as a PlayStation like player on the controller, there's L1 and R1 to boost left or right. If you go against a wall and you boost the opposite side, like so you're in the middle here in the wall to your right, if you boost the left, it'll start tilting you up, and you'll just keep spinning up the wall. And so we were getting up really, really high until like our freaking pikes would explode because it kept hitting the top of the wall.
That's that's amusing.
It was fun.
Breaking the game.
It was really fun. But the moon was beautiful. The skybox was really cool, and like if you look up, you could just see like a destroyed like space station. It was badass. The beta was just great. And what's even better about it was that it was really just a sample of the moon, enough to get people really like wanting to play it, but not enough to make people tired of it. It was great.
Yeah, I definitely saw a bunch of petitions to keep the moon around beyond just the time period. It was kind of funny.
Was there a specific time limit on it? Like, I know there was speculation between 2 and 4 hours that it was open, or...
Yeah, it seemed like it was only a 2-hour window, because like we tried inviting people to our party after the 2-hour limit was over just to see if it was possible, and they couldn't join us if they were out in orbit.
Yeah. But if you were in the moon after the moon closed, you couldn't leave. Like, you didn't have to leave until you were ready to leave. You could probably stay there until the servers got shut down. I'd say me, Foman, and my friend Mark were there for a good 2 hours after they'd shut the moon off. We were just exploring, and plus we'd gone out of the map, so we didn't really have much of a choice. But I mean,
amusing story about that. So I played for 4 hours, got like the first Grimoire card for like killing people on the moon. Okay, mission complete. I'm tired of grinding the stuff. I've gotten all the ghosts. I've seen everything that can be seen. I'm ready to leave it for lunch. And so I'm like, hey, Goat, I'll see you around. And he's like, sure, maybe I'll stick around and see if we can find a few more of those public events. And I log in the next morning. And I look like, Goat, mission, the moon. I'm like, what the hell, Goat? And he's just like, so, funny story, I got addicted to Grimoire and public events, and I'm still here.
Oh my god.
It was, I mean, I'm sure wasn't there playing the entire time. I'm sure he just left it on, but it's pretty surprising that he actually didn't hit any networking problems and stuff. And I know, like, Dado and friends were running around the moon for quite a while. What do you guys think of the player versus player modes?
Crucible is so great.
So, that Prometheus?
I got to play it a little bit. I was late to the entire beta in general, but I made sure to kind of make my way towards the Crucible as soon as possible. It was a little hard to get into and adapt, but once I kind of figured it out, I really enjoyed it. It had some interesting styles. I only got to play a few of the maps, but the ones I played, they were kind of dynamic, reminded me more of, I kind of want to say Halo 3's maps, and the way they were kind of stacked more. They weren't really flat. It was fun. It had a unique. I don't know. It reminded me a bit of Halo, but also a little bit of, I want to say, like Crackdown or something.
Now, for the majority of that, were you actually playing with a group of friends the majority, or were you kind of soloing it?
I was soloing it. I'm still on the 360. A lot of my money's tied up, so I haven't been able to jump the next gen yet. But it played well. I didn't have any issues with some of the older with the older platform. I didn't really meet anybody, but
I found it. Yeah, I was just saying I find it completely different when you do play with a group of friends. Like you run a party,
Absolutely, I believe
it
it.
is so different. Like, what might
Yeah.
be frustrating, a lot of feedback going back and forth about like, oh, why can't we do, even if you run a full team, um, with the whole proximity chat and if that should be allowed or what should we do about the voice thing if for players hearing other players, but like whether the vehicles are overpowered or all these other things can simply be tied in by just playing with a group of friends. Like it's actually
Yeah.
not
It's so
that
fun.
hard.
Yeah,
No,
like
even by
people.
myself. Go ahead.
Yeah, like a lot of people were complaining about the supers and how they're super overpowered, like especially Golden Gun, how like this guy can just run around the corner and just one shot you all the time. And while I do feel that maybe the Golden Gun could use a slight amount of nerfing, just because at the end of the beta, like our usual team compositions, whenever I was playing with a group of friends, I'd be the only warlock, and then there'd be 5 other hunters on our team all the time. Iron Crucible,
Every
Iron
single game.
and everything. It was impossible to tell people apart.
We actually
Uh,
came up with a band name for that. We called it Five Hunters and a Warlock. We're like, that could be
yes,
the name of a
yes.
band. Like,
500 warlock. But so people were complaining about this, and I was like, no, I didn't think it was too bad. But then I realized, like, well, wait, I was always, in a group of 6 people for the most part, and it's really easy to, it's much easier to deal with someone with a golden gun when you have someone saying, oh, I just killed, I'm running from alpha to beta, watch out, and we just either hide or we all just throw grenades at him, and right before he comes around the corner, he dies. I don't know. It just changes the experience completely, I feel, and I'm very interested to see how some of the other like 3 versus 3 compositions and such work out team-wise. But yeah,
more
I think it's
specific,
funny that people are saying that Golden Gun and Nova Bomb are overpowered, and yet no one says anything about Fist of Havoc. But being someone that played nothing but Titan, I will tell everyone
yes,
that Fist of Havoc is overpowered and badass. If you use your Fist of Havoc after you get the perk that makes you harder to kill, and a hunter tries Golden Gunning you, it won't kill you in the first hit. You'll destroy them. I was getting so many kills on people trying to pop Golden Gun on me because I'd just be in the lunge and they'd shoot me and I'd just fucking smack it off and kill them anyway.
yeah, you got
So
pretty
good.
good at that. I remember that game where you were running around for the Iron Banner just getting melee kills. That was pretty funny.
I went 16-2 with nothing but melee kills.
only melee.
Only melee. I think Prometheus wanted to go
Speaking
too.
of speaking of the Iron Banner too, I know there were a lot of. It seems like the reward system was a little bit broken because it was very random for that specific
Yeah.
playlist. I mean, you could only get it if you won a game, but it was interesting to see the feedback coming back on that. Like, oh, well, this guy, like, his KD was, like, really bad, but he got this legendary weapon. Like, what's up with that, So it's interesting to see, like, I think it'll probably use some tweaking as far as the reward system, but it's up in the air. That's what a beta is for.
Sure. So I wanted to bring up, went into the help section, and user Crazy Pug said in his thread, he wishes they would add search and destroy as a game type, and he's really big into that. That kind of made me think, with what we saw in the beta as far as game types and the Crucible goes, what would you add? We've kind of talked about what we'd nerf, but what would you add to it to improve upon the experience?
Capture the flag.
Yeah, CTF.
CTF. Absolutely.
Not sure how well capture the flag would work actually. That seems like it would just be like a huge Titan cluster heck with
Oh yeah, you'd all die.
defender subclass. Make a super daisy chain of like 6 Titan dome shields leading back to your base. Just
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Seems
tell everyone right now, if
Yeah.
we ever have a 6-man Titan team, the enemy team just not gonna stand a chance. I don't care what anyone says. Fist of Havoc all the way.
yeah, it'd be pretty obnoxious. I think any sort of like entirely, all one class composition would be annoying. I'd like to see some King of the Hill flavors. Like one idea I've always thought would be really really cool is it's a game type I've only really seen in actually Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. As terrible of a game as terrible of a Banjo-Kazooie game as it is, it did have one really cool game type in its online mode that I only got to play like once, but the concept seemed novel enough. So it had a hill that you had to stay inside of to collect points. but rather than like teleporting to different set locations on the map, it would just fall. It was like it was on rails. It would just like this ring would just move around the map, and so you had to like run to like keep up with it. And inside of it, it would sometimes like go up and over a wall, so you had to like scramble around to the other side and such. And there's places you could ambush people in your vehicles. I mean, the gameplay wasn't very good because the fighting mechanics of nuts and bolts. You're making your own cars. You stick kind of gimmicky shooters on it. It's very hands-on and silly, but I think it would be interesting to prototype something like that in a shooter, see how that goes, objective-wise.
That was a great
so
game.
rather than going from fixed point to fixed point around the map, you would do everything in between that as well.
Yeah. So it's like maybe a rectangular-shaped zone, and it just kind of like and you're going along to keep up with it.
I like our.
Yeah. Prometheus, did you get to play like Iron Banner or anything, or were you too late for all that?
I think it ended like while I was trying to do the missions to unlock the Crucible. I was on vacation the week prior, and I just got back the 26th.
Yeah.
And I got my fair share of play. Like I enjoyed what I played.
What was your favorite part about it then? I mean, you're as the person like who had the least amount of playtime. If you guys remember, Bungie told everyone that this is a game for everyone. If you don't have hours to spend on it, then you're going to be able to play on it. So, like, having been someone that experienced that, did you still enjoy it, even though you didn't have a lot of time with the game?
Yeah, I enjoyed kind of the seamless networking of a lot of the single player going in and out of the tower and all these random encounters. There, just the minimal amount of loading screens. And the way they corralled players in certain areas. I remember I was exploring in old Russia, and I came across some invulnerable enemies, and I quickly Zoidberged my way out of there. Just whoop, 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 whoop. So they didn't kill me. So that was I appreciate craftsmanship in games, so that's kind of why it wasn't just closed doors and constant. Blackouts to transition like Call of Duty, but
that's something we haven't talked about. That was really cool too. They didn't have loading screens in any of the areas. It was just.
I mean,
when you were in orbit, it treats it.
Yeah,
like
that's sorry. I mean, like in game, like when you're in a match or like free roam in Old Russia or something. There's no loading screens, and I think that's awesome.
I mean, I think they had chunks that they loaded because, like, at the very early part of the beta, there was like I was running into an issue where I was trying to go to the moth yard on the third mission where you first encounter the hive on my Titan, and I kept on getting kicked out to orbit with like some error code. I don't know, eagle, vulture, whatever, monstrous mutant creature. But yeah, it was very seamless, and kudos to their engineers for pulling that off. I feel.
I would like to add note that I did totally break the game with loading. That me and my friend Captain Scurvy got out of the map, and we got back in the map, and as soon as we got in the map, it started loading, and it didn't stop loading for a good 5 minutes.
On the topic of loading, I think there was some wasted potential there. When I was entering the Crucible, it's a good like 30 seconds of loading everything up, which is fine. But I think it's a prime opportunity to do some little tongue-in-cheek mini games like Galaga. Have their ships flying there, so you have these ships flying in, and the screens kind of floating there. I'm like, you could do a short little like pew 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 game just to keep you busy for 45 seconds.
They had Nop as an Easter egg.
Yeah, Nop or something like Igus was the game that I kind of thought of if anyone played that on the Xbox Live Marketplace. But I don't know, just something little, fight the darkness with your ship and pew 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 your way through loading screens.
That's exactly what it is.
I think it'd be funny.
Yeah. Well, I think that the Destiny beta will, yeah. That's wonderful. No, I am really curious to see what sort of like Easter egg stuff they do manage to throw in like maybe some really obscure spot or such, because there's no doubt a ton of room for that. But I'd say overall the beta was a pretty huge success. I mean, we had like 4,638,937 players that participated. 6.5 million such. I mean, it wasn't without its own problems. Like, I thought there was maybe some conveyance issues that they could work out, and obviously the networking model can always be polished and such, and they have a ton of out of bounds glitches to fix because of Chorizo and friends. But overall, I think it gave people a good idea of what Destiny was, and it got people interested in more. And hopefully, they have enough time to incorporate some of our feedback and such. It's a little unclear exactly how much time they have left or how pressured they are to fix some of those systems, because the game is coming out in like what, 35, 34, 36 days, something like that.
Something like
I mean,
that,
the game has to go gold pretty soon, and I know I'm very curious to see how it'll go. As the end game approaches, how things play out.
Yeah.
Real quick for that, I want all of us. We do have the infographic pulled up from the latest Bungie Weekly update with all the stats on it. We should all go around and say what's the most intriguing stat. Yeah, what's the thing on that stat page that like sticks out the most? I think for me, it would be that on average, most players spend over 20% of their entire game time in the tower. Like,
that's insane.
Like, it does. Like 20% of the time you played in Destiny was done in the tower. Like, that's a long time. I mean, for some of us, that played almost 20, 30 plus hours for it. Like, that's a long time.
The majority of your time just
4 to 5 hours just hanging out in the tower, like doing whatever. Like, that's a long time for that. I don't know. That just
that was a pretty surprising stat, I thought. Let's see here, what's a good one to talk about?
Just looking around at stats.
My favorite one is not very significant, but it makes me laugh. It is the moon statistics. It said 851,000 visited the moon, and then it says 1,969 claimed to have landed on the moon, but totally faked it. And I assume they mean people like Hyobos and I that went completely off the chart and just went everywhere we wanted.
Well, I think that's a shout out to the year 1969 when we landed on the moon.
Well, I'm an idiot. Are you sure?
I know my history.
I don't.
I saw the moon landing on YouTube.
God. Well, I take it back then. My favorite statistic was the 6.5 million Guardians.
So my favorite statistic is the 1969 because Chorizo has egg all over his face right now.
Okay. It happens when you're ignorant. It happens to me all the time.
I thought that was interesting that, like, there's 853,000 concurrent players, but only 851,000 of them visited the moon. So we're the 2,000 people who just AFK and totally ignoring the, by the way, moon's open, little pop messages that are coming up, or if they're just super hardcore Iron Banner people that are like, oh, we must get to, tier 3 Iron Banner before the end of the beta. I don't know. But it was very cool that Bungie made that infographic.
Yeah, at the way bottom of it, there was
it's just so cool.
777,000 were on their phone,
yes,
looking at their shiny new Destin companion app. Like, of all the numbers that it could have possibly been, I swear to God, there's always a 7 stat in there. I'm like,
that's great.
And I like how the picture that they show it with shows their characters at level 7, with all 7s in it. I was like, what? So.
That's a little cute.
Speaking of, if you look at the total players, the 4.6 million. Of those players, there was almost 1 million companion users of the mobile app. So that's almost like 25% people using the mobile app on there. That's a lot. I don't know whether that compares to other community games, but that to me seems like that's almost a quarter of your players, like 1 in 4.
It's a pretty healthy adoption rate. Not that I'm an expert.
Yeah.
Like
you know what I wish I would have gotten that I didn't is that Reaper medal, because I got 5 kills. I could have been one of those 400. It would have been 430 people that got it, but I messed up. I wish I did.
You didn't Titan super hard enough. You need to.
No, that's exactly what I did. I used Fist of Havoc when they were capturing one objective, and I killed 5 people. One more person, I would have got it.
It's always some guy off in the corner who's smart enough not to stand in the capturing.
He's just sitting there chuckling. It's like, you're all gonna die.
Like, you may maybe whip around if you're Shing and see, shoot him, but it's too late because like it's much harder to get multi kills in this game than it is in Halo because like I guess they increase the delay, decrease the time that you have to chain them together. I know, lots of fun memories though in general. After the beta came out, I know IGN had a couple articles about various things, and not throughout the beta per se, but they ran through a lot of the maps. Afterwards, they showed us Twilight Gap, which was a map that's actually right next to the tower on Earth. It's a pretty cool, like, industrial. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that.
I have.
I haven't actually.
No?
No, I haven't.
Yes.
I didn't even know.
Has ever
Brand
seen
new
Twilight
map,
Gap?
You go watch it later. Yeah.
We'll have to link it later, but
Yeah.
it's like it's just like all the other maps. It's really well designed. Tons of line of sight blockers and interesting sight lines for sniping and such. It's like this rusted like military base built in the mountains that are overlooking the last city. You can totally see the Traveler in the skybox, just right there in the opening sequence and such.
That's
And there's
cool.
like guns that are fired at our enemy actively throughout the match and such. Like you'll just be standing on it, it will just fire off in the distance. It's heavily rusted. It's used for like training, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's just this really old military base thing with like, oh dear, they're not zip lines, but what do they call those things? Like little trolleys on the mountains. There's a good word for that I'm totally blanking on, but they have those and a bunch of other really cool things.
What are they?
Have that.
We'll link it later.
Like,
You know what
I don't
I'm really curious about is I think IGN got to go through the Vault of Glass as part because right am I right about that? I don't want any more egg on my face, but
Right.
I think they did speak briefly about it when they were talking to Luke Smith, and I want to know how their experience went with that because I don't think they talked about it too much. But I want to play
I
that.
would be surprised if they saw some things that they weren't allowed to report about yet, just for like context and clarification. Like we definitely know that happened like back when Destiny was first revealed and such. Like they had the entire day-night demo and like they demoed another area of Earth and so on and so forth. But no, it could possibly happen, but I don't remember them explicitly saying. But yeah, they also talked a lot about raids and such, and we get onto the famous raid matchmaking topic that's currently raging in the community right now. What are you guys' thoughts about that?
Entirely issue of its own, yeah. Is the question of should matchmaking be allowed in raids? And for me personally, I am a guy that would say no, just because
I agree.
and it's hard for some people to think about it, but if you think of it in the context of our relationship from Halo 3 ODST, Firefight, which had no matchmaking, and you go to Reach, which does have matchmaking, the playstyle of the generic community playstyle of those two games in that mode is vastly different. And simply because of the reason I can click a button that finds me other players, or I have to find time dedicated to my friends, and we got to figure out what our goal is and what we want to accomplish, and hopefully we have enough time to complete that.
Yeah.
If we all have high enough gear, if we have enough player skill, and a little bit of luck.
I think about it from a different perspective. As someone who really enjoys challenging himself in games, I'd like to be able to take on raids by myself and see how I'd fare against like the bosses and the raids, especially the Vault of Glass. Like I hear it's really hard. So how accomplished would I feel as a player if I could tell my friends like, hey, I did this on my own, and even get it like a trophy or achievement for doing it by yourself? It'd be cool.
Now, when you say by yourself, though, are you referring to like you on your own? Like,
On my own. So no matchmaking. I don't have to go in there with friends. I
No
get
friends,
to do it
no
by
match.
myself.
Yeah. I don't know. For something like that, I think it would be more. It's hard to say because a lot of the community, they're thinking, well, I don't have friends that play regularly. How the heck am I going to, find players to play this for me? So, I don't know. Did you have any thoughts on that, Prometheus?
I don't know. Well, me personally, I don't have a shortage of friends that don't play Destiny, but I mean, I could totally see that. But like I said, I personally don't feel like matchmaking is necessary at all for raids. As someone who I wouldn't mind going in there by myself. During the beta, I definitely wouldn't have minded taking on Septicast Prime by myself. I feel like I could have done it at the level I was at with the gear I had. I don't know. That might just be me. I enjoy challenges like that. I'll get my ass kicked and I'll just keep going back and trying again.
Yeah. I mean, the raids are definitely, they are high end game content, but they are targeting a specific audience with that. And for those players, and I'm curious to see once after Destiny launches and everyone has the game for a little bit, to see. Bungie will never show the numbers, but it would be interesting to see how many players that actually beat the game, how many of them actually did raids after that, or is that a daily function? You know?
Yeah, I'm somewhat skeptical about, like, there's a number. I can totally understand where Bungie might be coming from when they say that, say no to raid matchmaking. For one, there might not even be a population of people that are searching, for raids 24/7. Since it is such like a huge undertaking and such, it might not even have the population to, have a playlist. Like, there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, let us have options," but that's the same logic that you'd use to say, "Oh, we should totally have Mongoose, King of the Hill, shenanigans, fusion rifle only."
Just have an option to turn it off. That's all we need.
Yeah. It's
Is the game resources actually worth it though? I mean, is that?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's so much a resource issue, but it's also, like a lot of messaging and such. Like, do we, are we saying that this is an activity that random should be able to complete on their own, or is it something that we want to reserve for more, leverage some of the more social aspects of Destiny and such? And I mean, to compare it to, and a lot of people will say that, Destiny will, this is totally going to fail as a result, or, I shouldn't buy a game that I can't play all the modes for, on a snap of a finger. But I look at things like, the VidMaster challenges from, the Halo 3 and ODST, kind of going back to some of the firefight stuff, getting people. There was never a playlist for, getting Endure. There's never a playlist for getting, the VidMaster Annual Challenge, which was also one of the big, long, lengthy ones, just because it was really easy just for someone to go off the edge with a ghost and,
and
die.
Also really easy for someone to lose their internet connection during that.
Exactly. Very easy for someone to lose their internet connection and stuff. I mean, we had all those problems, and yet we as a community still, got together and we overcame that because we really wanted that recon armor. We really wanted those achievements and such. And I feel that Destiny is not going to be any different. And in fact, it's going to be even easier now that we have clans. Now that our forums are a little bit more, it scales a little bit better with high activity and such, for people to get together and find competent people and come up with a plan for a raid and maybe several days in advance of the raid and perform well and such. I think it will end up just fine. Again, I'm somewhat biased because I can just go in and I could probably make a thread and instantly get like 5 or 10 people who want to jump in and help. I'm a very social, online, forum-connected type background, but yeah.
I don't think it'll be very difficult finding people who want to play, even after the point where some people start completing it and they see the type of rewards you get for it. Like you were talking about recon armor back in the Halo 3 days, but like, who knows what's going to be a reward for completing some of these raids? Like once people start doing it, once people start doing it,
purple ball, you gotta keep it forever. That's it.
Well, once people start seeing the rewards, like I feel like there's going to be so many people that are going to jump on and constantly be finding people to play with.
I was originally going to say that I didn't have much of an opinion on this topic, but listening to Hylabos, I kind of developed thought in that I think matchmaking, in a sense, is too easy of an option to really. I think it prevents the community from developing as much as it could. It's kind of like a microwave kind of prevents you from developing cooking skills because it's just pop it in and hit a button. Where matchmaking, it's so easy just to go into a community, go into a game, and just go out knowing you're going to find new people that. It doesn't encourage people to network and meet new people and develop more personal connections with these other gamers in the other community. Being forced to find people manually, it does do that, I think. And so if you left out raid matchmaking with the random encounters in the tower, and the site, if they get it smoothed out, I think that will be more than enough to replace that and to allow these people without regular friends online to find those regular friends, and to find these groups to go on these raids with. I think you'd have a more tight-knit community rather than this kind of massive mixing bowl that people are constantly going in and out of, and not really finding, not really developing these connections with communities, or at least not nearly as often, in my opinion.
Something. Well, hearing you guys talk about that is kind of funny because I have seen threads in I've seen threads in the Destiny forum and the community forum as well, and about talking about this kind of stuff. And when I see people saying that they don't have friends to play Destiny with, I kind of laugh because, I mean, you're on the website for Destiny, like you're on Bungie.net, like you're around enough like-minded people where you shouldn't have an issue finding someone to play with. I mean, just especially coming from someone that came into the community looking for people to play with, like I didn't have a hard time. I looked around, I posted, I saw people having game nights, and I started playing with them, and then we became friends. And once you have that experience, it doesn't go away. Like I still play with all the people I've played with since I started going on Bungie.net. So it's really just a matter of people stepping up and trying to find friends rather than just like, I don't know, complaining about it, I guess.
I mean, I definitely agree with you, and it extends well beyond just raids and Destiny. I don't mean to kind of shift the topic too quick before we get off this, but I found roommate for PAX this year, someone I kind of knew him, but complete stranger, and
That's fun though.
It's there's definitely an ability, a community there to reach out to. So
yeah,
there's no reason people can't find those. I know I kind of jumped the gun and cut some people off, so.
No worries. I mean, and one of the threads, someone was saying like, well, what's the difference between like getting randoms, through matchmaking, getting randoms by posting a forum thread and people posting their gamer tags and such? It's like, well, there's a huge difference, just by taking the extra effort to go on to like, Bungie.net and posting a thread, seeking out people, and handpicking them to, be in your fire team. That creates a social connection, however begrudging or temporary it may be. I just think it's a lot more powerful than anything else that you'll get from a matchmaking system, at least.
I agree.
So something I want to say, and I know it's definitely coming off topic, and I hate pulling I hate pulling me Spawn Halibus in this kind of position. But all I'm gonna say is, if anyone's listening to this and they ever need someone to play with, you're more than welcome to reach out to people like us. I mean, with the mentor badge and all that stuff, or even the forum ninjas. I mean, we're members of the community too, and honestly, I'd love to play with new people.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you ever get in a situation where you need someone to play with, you just ask, and I'm down to play with whoever. I'm a gamer. I love meeting new people.
That reminds me of something. So I want to touch on this real quick.
Sure.
And only because a lot of us are either involved with or regularly play with the Community Carnage, I think we should start a mixers night, a game night focused on new people to the community or new people to Destiny, what have you, to kind of bring them together and start forming connections.
That'd be really cool.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to work on with the Community Carnage and such. I have some ideas and such. Maybe moving away from more so the super elaborate formal game nights where it's like, oh, this is going to happen 3 days from now, and we're going to have 16 slots, and you have to sign up in this thread and follow this, friend list. This.
Oh shit! I'm gonna be late. When is?
We'll abandon you if you're gone. No, just have more casual, hey, I'm online. I'm playing Halo 3. Who wants to come along? Moving more towards that style of game nights and such. I think would improve. Maybe we won't get some of the older members all jumping on, but some of the new members, absolutely. We should have more of a balance with that, and I've been doing that a little bit with Mario Kart, and I'd like to do more of that in the future.
I love Mario Kart so much.
Mario Kart makes me so happy inside every time I play. Oh my gosh.
What Chorizo was really saying is he hates playing with us, and he needs to play with new people.
God, I hate you guys. I can't stand it. I need new people to play with, guys.
I mean, it's nice being carried every once in a while, but nice being
every time I log onto the Destiny beta, you get 5 invites from all the same people, and you never play with anyone else.
That's not true.
Ego dude, every day. Did you guys want to talk a little bit about the Ghost Editions? I think we discussed that.
Can we talk about how I have one? I pre-ordered mine.
Just canceled my Ghost Edition pre-order. No, I just
Destiny doesn't have raid matchmaking,
Ghost
nor does it
Edition
have more than
canceled.
one triple ball
Canceled.
of power. Pre-order canceled.
Pre-order
Uh,
canceled.
Let's
Ghost
talk
Edition
about.
canceled.
I'm selling my pre-order on eBay, guys, for $50 a pop. I got 4.
I don't know why that was so funny.
Prometheus should tell us about his Ghost Edition.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. So I realized I had the money to go pre-order a Ghost Edition, and I'm like, you know what? Looks cool. Got the money. Walks like a duck. Talks like a duck. Gonna get pre-ordered like a duck. So I went onto Walmart.com, who say they still had online pre-orders for this game, for the Ghost Edition for the Xbox One. Order it the next day. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. I almost said something insulting there, but Joe Schmo sitting behind a keyboard probably hit a 9 instead of a 6, and they ran out of. They over pre-ordered this game, which I'm not
yes.
surprised, and
I saw
so
the
they
about that.
canceled my pre-order and gave me my money back. I'm pissed.
You're like, I don't want my fucking money. I want my Ghost Edition.
Yeah, shut up and take my money. Give me my game. Yeah. So anyway, I'm sure one will turn up in the stores or something. I'm not.
The moral of the story is don't go to something online. Go physically to the store and pre-order it, because I'm fine.
What Bungie needs to do is the next
Yeah,
next
a lot of
Bungie day. They just need to give out more swag bags with Ghost Editions.
Yep.
Let the community rage again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that turns out, because Bungie didn't discount the fact that, you know, they might print more Ghost Editions and such, but either they don't announce it and all the people are still going to be mad because they haven't been calling their GameStop every day to ask if, you know, they have more Ghost Editions and such, or they announce like, hey, we're going to be restocking the Ghost Edition, and then it's like all hell gets out, you know, all hell breaks loose, and we're back to the swag bags where they're gone in like 5 minutes, or PAX tickets, for example. I mean, it just doesn't seem like any sort of restocking plans is going to work out well, so I don't know.
Well,
hopefully you find something, though.
So I'm not too worried about it. It'll be fine. But, you know, throughout this entire Destiny process, Bungie / Activision / Sony, they haven't exactly been, we're going to be purist in our development of this game, and we want the collectors to win out. It's, we want your money. So I'd be surprised if they didn't create more Ghost Editions. I'm not saying they're greedy. I'm just saying if
Money's
it walks
money.
like a duck and quacks like a duck, then
You like that metaphor a lot.
well,
Well,
if the shoe
I
fits,
was-
wear it.
what I was gonna say is I think it'd be funny if they gave the swag bags away, and they had the Ghost Editions, but it wasn't the good ones. It was all the deformed ghosts they messed up on in the factory.
Little
And
down
that's what you
ghost
get.
like
Yeah, the ghost is like missing corners. It just looks fucking weird.
it's just like you open it up, it's like you found
Voice
a
is
dead
just all
ghost.
demented and creepy.
It's all the dead
The
ghosts.
Peter
Press
Dinklage
X to
voice is like
revive.
a shy falsetto.
Yeah.
Could you
Well,
imagine if they had like forum contests and they said like, last year
gosh.
they did like the winner got like a signed Destiny poster, right? What if
Right.
the winners like they have forum contest and they're like, oh, by the way, the winner gets a Ghost Edition. Like,
Everyone would
that would
freak the
light
hell
them
out.
up on fire.
Oh
Like,
no,
not
just
only
make it a
from
signed Ghost Edition, and it's immediately like, all hell is going to break loose. I mean, the
because you-
competition was pretty fierce for those signed posters. And
you not only have groups from BNet, like you'll have people from Reddit, from NeoGAF,
Everyone trying
from
to
community, from YouTube channels, like everybody
Twitter.
will be trying to win these things.
Oh, console! I can't do his fucking voice. Never mind. I was gonna make a joke, but joke's over.
No, I just
But-
remember, if they did give out those deformed ghosts, Charisma would get it, be like, "So I broke the game, guys." It's like just shattered in half.
I actually did it. Yeah, that's how I'd approach that.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to the release. I'm gonna fucking find stuff to break, even if it's full game. I'm gonna do it.
You're just
You-
gonna break the disc, man.
You can just start with a ghost. Why
Yeah,
not the
okay.
physical ghost? Just start with that and just start breaking it.
I'm gonna take my
So-
ghost everywhere, though. I'm gonna bring it to school, and everyone asks what it is that doesn't know. We're like, oh, that? That's just my ghost. Not a big deal.
Yeah,
That's
there's
funny.
some nice cello music going on in the background inexplicably. So on that note, let's move on to the next subject. So Gamescom is coming up in a week or two. I think it's like the 12th through the 17th or the 14th or something like that. Bungie's going. Not sure if they're showing anything, but that's possibly the next big point where we might see some, and possibly the final point where we might see some interesting information before the game drops in September. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I want to see
So-
more trading cards.
I would love to see those, but we do know there is a Sony conference on the 12th. No idea if Bungie is going to attend or not, but it is for Gamescom. I don't know if there was a NeoGAF thread about it, so I did post it earlier. We have a Skype chat for it, but yeah, there is. I don't know. Bungie hasn't said anything about like what they're doing there, but I would love to see more trading cards.
Yeah, it seems like 17 is such an odd number just to leave off on. At least like give 3 more or 4 more so you can have like a nice even, multiple of 7 or something like that. I don't know.
Well, it has been commented on too, even last December. Deej was saying, yeah, there will be more trading cards, and we haven't seen any so far this year.
Yeah,
So,
he'd also
I
say
love trading cards.
podcast.
I
though.
don't know. I don't know. I think we're running out of time, and this seems like a good opportunity.
I'd like to see trading
less
cards.
than a month
I want to see
before launch.
Bungie's packs. I do. I think it'd be cool if they showed up there and they gave trading cards there. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, last year they didn't really have anything to do just because they were in an awkward time period between like conventions and such, and I guess they didn't feel that they could really make a huge impact with like having an official presence at PAX. But hopefully, and it's also again this year's PAX is in a bit of an awkward position since they are literally a week away. So they might have something there just to increase the hype level to the max at PAX, or I'd be curious to see. I don't have PAX tickets myself, but I'll definitely be at whatever community meetups that are there, presuming that they're not like Friday or Saturday. We'll see how that goes.
We're gonna hang out how both. We'll go do something.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little awkward for
No,
me. So it's not, like
all of
coming
us.
off the tail end of the vacation, and it's a little going to be difficult to make connections and such like that. But we'll see how that goes.
We'll call it the PAX cast.
You can be this Spawn?
Indeed.
The PAX cast for it.
What if at PAX they're just giving away Ghost editions?
The PAX.
You know how many people would just grab them and like start
Nope,
giving
they
You
won't
just
be
go
able
up to
to,
the
because
meeting
Jerome will be
spot, it's like
watching.
sitting on like a pile of crates of Coast Editions.
So what you gotta do is you gotta cosplay up as a garden and just like those like street mimes that stand there really still. You just move closer and closer and closer. Everyone thinks you're a statue, and you grab one when no one's looking. And it's like I'm demonstrating this, and you just sprint and bolt for the door.
Yeah. Jerome's gonna be there with his gravity hammer. You're not gonna get far.
Whoa, it's Fist of whatever it's now. They don't
Havoc.
know.
I didn't even think about that. We just made a new thing. Jerome's a Titan now.
Yeah. Well, he was always a Titan.
Well, time to go post a thread in the community forum.
Oh, well, make sure
Jerome
you name drop me.
Jerome is the Titan. Like
He's the Titan.
is the Titan.
I'm making a thread.
Oh, I did.
I'm going to, but this is
Yeah,
it.
Jerome, can you come into the motion capture room for a little bit and smash some cardboard boxes for reference material?
Oh, hey, we have a question from Captain Scurvy, by the way, guys. So his question goes out to Prometheus, and he wants to know how your Ghost Edition is.
About as ethereal as the name presents itself to be.
Yeah. So there
Think
you go.
about it.
There you go, Captain Scurvy. I hope you're happy
Think
with that
about it.
answer.
It is literally my Ghost Edition. It is not here.
All right.
So I did want to touch on a topic. I didn't know because I've been looking into it specifically with as far as digital pre-orders on the Xbox versions, and I know there hasn't been any information on if that's going to happen because I've seen a lot of people. They're like, "Hey, I can pre-order digitally on PS3, PS4. Why can't I do it on my Xbox?" And I wonder if that's something that's unannounced or will come down later or will be after launch, like post-launch. I wonder if that's a marketing strategy.
Yeah, it's somewhat up to Microsoft, I think, to like support that sort of thing, or at least it seems like it would. I mean, like you can certainly get the game digitally and such, but it's up to Microsoft to both market it and make it available for pre-order and such. Get it all done on the Xbox Marketplace side of things. I certainly haven't seen anything about it on my Xbox One, which I've been playing quite a bit of since the beta ended. Lots of Titanfall. Surprisingly, Destiny made me really good at Titanfall for some reason. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool for those people who like to eschew our traditions and feelies and so on and so forth. Just go completely digital and soulless.
I like having private copies of things.
That there's no clarification on it. A lot of people are up in the air, up in arms about it.
I want to have a physical copy of everything. Everything. I'm going to have every single edition of everything. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to buy multiple stuff, especially digital copies. I don't trust digital copies.
Me either, because if your data gets corrupted, that's it.
Only weird people and people named Flint like digital copies.
Oh, Flint.
All over that. But
were we going to do some more rapid fire questions from the help forum?
Sure, I got one set up.
Let's just start shouting them out and answering them.
All right. So user Burrito Senor says, Bungie.net bug, muting doesn't work. Just something interesting to note. So muting's not working with the new update. Discuss.
Did he tag you with BNet bugs like I asked him to?
No, he's a slacker.
God.
I keep muting all these people and they won't disappear. My tools don't work.
Burrito's knocked out on Vicodin. You can't expect him to detect his ass from a hole in the moon.
That's true, yes. Poor Burrito couldn't make it because he had his wisdom teeth removed recently. As funny, we really tried to get him onto the podcast because we thought it would be hilarious if he just had like a little whiteboard that he'd be like furiously scribbling on and then like holding it up to the screen like the beta was super awesome or like screw you guys. I mean, we'd probably make a ton of jokes at his expense. So I feel that it'd maybe take a few minutes just to vent a little bit since he wasn't able to come on.
Yeah, so keep Burrito in your thoughts and prayers. He had the last bit of wisdom he had left removed from him.
Next question was, why am I getting error code? Fill in the blank. Who knows it? Stingray. Why am I getting error code Stingray? It's because the beta is over. And you cannot play it, and I cannot play it, and nobody can play it.
That's not true. I can play it in my dreams.
Yes. Actually, I'm getting Canary over here. It's not Stingray.
I don't care what error code you get, you can't play it. So don't even try it. That's why you can't play it.
Well,
so Bungie said that, by the way, I should probably just mention in case anyone else hasn't gotten the message. Bungie said you can delete your, beta from your consoles if you want to. It's not going to like magically upgrade itself to the full edition once the game comes out or anything like that. So yeah, you can totally delete if you want, unless you want to keep it around for like handy backgrounds for podcasts and such.
I'm never going to delete the beta ever.
Just have like a flash drive if you carry it around your neck at all times. Just like
I'm probably gonna keep it. Just like Steve Irwin. The Stingray era reminds us of what we lost and loved.
I like Halibus's idea though. I'm gonna get a flash drive and I'm gonna put it on there. I'm just gonna wear it everywhere. That way,
just like in that movie Tron.
They're like, "What's that?" They're like, "Oh, it's the Destiny."
You should go to PAX. You should go to PAX and go up to Deej and be like, "Hey, Deej, can you sign my Destiny beta?"
That would be really cool, actually. That's not a bad idea, Halibus. I might actually get that and have people sign it. That'd be badass.
I know, the drives are pretty small these days. There's not a lot of room for actually signing on it unless you just like load it up on your computer and just try and like print it out like on Notepad or something like that.
No, what you need to do, go to a Goodwill or something, get a bunch of floppy disks, and somehow just save. You'll get like a couple stacks of them. You just have people sign each different floppy disk.
Yeah, just those 5.5 floppy disks, like the actual floppy disks, not like those.
Like the kind that they launch nukes off of. If you've been paying attention to the news.
Oh yes, that's right. I think I saw that John Oliver thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Sobering time.
Oh, a
Bring
little
them
more
right up.
clarification. You know, there is more people posting the clan threads in the wrong forum. So any thread, like discussion about clans, like advertisement, recruitment for clans, like anything like that, goes in the clans forum. Like a lot of people are saying, like, oh, it's not a recruitment thread, so it doesn't go there. Well, any thread, any thread that's about clans, regardless of advertisement or not, goes in the clans forum.
Yes. Users should note that it's the clans forum, not the recruitment forum.
Correct.
I'd like to point that out for the Sherlock Holmes of the BNet community.
Yes. Well, if you have any other questions that, about Bungie.net, about Destiny, or if you just want to hear our thoughts on the matter, feel free to sound off in the thread or send us a private message on Bungie.net. We're generally helpful people, and I think we can definitely help, assuage your problems and such. I'm speaking words, and they make sense. That's my job.
So
with that, I think we should start bringing the podcast to a close. It's been a full hour.
Wait. There is one more thing. One more thing before we leave. We're on iTunes.
We are on iTunes. Thanks to Flint and Chorizo and numerous other people who've been putting in a lot more work than I have.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Bye.
Anything else? Any shout-outs or upcoming events that we want to name out?
So see you guys at PAX. I want to do something special for PAX. I haven't decided yet, but what's so funny?
We should just have a PAX cast, I think.
Live.
See you guys at PAX.
We'll hold around the same laptop or something, like on the terrible, convention floor Wi-Fi. Just try and do something with that. That'd be amusing.
All right.
Yep.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for watching the P7 podcast. Septicast.
Until next time.
Septicast.
Septicast.
Until next time,
Septicast.
the Septicast.